Hi and welcome back to day 4 of the 2012 Dongfeng Citroën BWF Thomas Cup. We're in the Wuhan Sports Arena in Wuhan in the province of Hubei in central China. And tonight we have the host nations, the defending champions, the favourites China, taking on Malaysia in the quarterfinals of this Thomas Cup. The sports arena not yet full to capacity. There's been a few traffic problems in Wuhan this evening. Hopefully it'll fill up as the evening goes on. Here's how things came out of the group stages. No surprises really. China leading Group A ahead of Indonesia. And of course they're taking on Malaysia, who were pipped to the top of Group C after losing to Denmark 3-2 yesterday. Japan topping Group B. Group D, led by Korea, Russia and Germany, also make it through to the quarterfinals, but of course they actually have already played in the Thomas Cup quarterfinals earlier on today. Let's just see how they were seeded. China number 1, Korea number 2. Japan and Denmark knew they would avoid China and Korea in the quarterfinals. Malaysia, Indonesia, Russia and Germany awaited their fate, and of course it was Malaysia who came out of the pots in the draw that was made earlier on. As you can see, Japan and Denmark already in the semi-finals. Japan beating Indonesia earlier today 3-2. Denmark a clean sweep of 3-0 against Russia. So they await to see if it's Korea or Germany or China or Malaysia who they face. So that's how it lines up. Of course, on Sunday we'll have the final, when it's very much expected we'll see tonight's nation on offer, and China not only dominating in this event, but Fu Haifeng with the top 2 smashes. We're going to see Tan Boon Hyung in action as well tonight with his regular partner. He's in there at 3rd spot at 275 kilometers per hour. As for the women, well, no one's still able to top Camilla Rutuyul, even after this morning's play. Her effort in the group stages at 232. That's all about who can hit it hardest, but really it's all about who can win the Thomas and Hubei Cups. Tonight our focus then is on the Thomas Cup. I'm Richard Kaufman. Welcome aboard. The atmosphere is building nicely. Alongside me is a lady who knows what it takes to win a medal in the Hubei Cup. Jill Clark's with me, former England player. Looking forward to this match then. China against Malaysia. Always interesting to watch China. We know they're brilliant, but also interesting to watch Malaysia. What were they going to do with the lineup tonight? Well, here it is, Jill. Ku and Tan are back in tandem in the men's doubles.
Yes, absolutely, and their second-ranked pair on the world ranking are also playing together, so they've reverted back to their established men's doubles pairings, but of course it's so noticeable with the Malaysian team that they're missing the world #1, Lee Chong-wei, who very sadly yesterday in the final group match against Denmark, of course, twisted his ankle in the 3rd rally of the match. He's flown home this morning. He's already been to hospital here in China. They've done a scan of his ankle. We're told it's not going to be more than about a month that he's out of action. But of course his Olympic preparations all interrupted, and it means of course that Darren Liu is now playing first singles. He had a terrific win yesterday playing against Jan Jorgensen at 2nd men's singles, but of course now promoted to first because of the injury to Lee Chong-wei.
Yeah, super performance yesterday. It's going to have to be an incredible performance today, because right behind him, lurking, is you-know-who, Superdan Lindan. And Wuhan tastes a bit of Lindanity here. Lindanity sweeps China. The Olympic, current Asiad and world champion Lindan. What a task ahead then for Darren Liu, who, as Jill was saying, was number 2 in terms of where he would be in the men's singles. He was actually number 3 in the qualifiers in Macau back in February, so it's quite some rise. Not the kind of one he would have wanted, obviously, with everyone in the Malaysian camp's thoughts with Lee Chong-wei. As you say, Lee Chong-wei flew home this morning, and you wouldn't be surprised really if the Malaysian team joined him on another flight tomorrow morning.
Well, of course, the favourites are China. There's no getting away from that, and it would take an absolutely monumental effort from the Malaysians to beat the Chinese team on home soil here. But you've got to remember that only 3 men's teams have ever won the Thomas Cup, and 2 of them are on court right now, Malaysia and China, and of course Indonesia, the other team that's lifted the trophy. But, you know, I think Darren Liu will take an awful lot from yesterday's victory, you know, so he will see this as an opportunity. He's going to, I'm sure, enjoy the match tonight, and this is the first time he's ever played against Lin Dan, so it's an opportunity for him to judge just how much improvement he's made.
Well, here is the Master Supreme Lin Dan. He's looked totally in control so far in his 2 matches in the group stages. And there's nothing to suggest he's going to take his foot off the pedal here tonight against Darren Liu. As you say, he's got nothing to lose. It's a shame in a way, and I don't mean this in any damning way to Darren Liu, but it would have been great to see Lee Chong-wei at the other end. They've had some thrilling matches in recent times, none more so than at the World Championships, and of course they met in the All England final when again Lee Chong-wei, for another injury, had to pull out. But it is Darren Liu, as you can see, ranked 33 in the world. The talk was ahead of yesterday's match with Janne Jorgensen that he was a player out of form, pretty much a no-hoper if you took some of the words from Malaysian coaches to heart, but he went out there and proved everybody wrong.
Yes, it was interesting because I was talking to Rashid Sadek actually on the way down to the stadium here this evening, the Malaysian coach, and I said how well Darren Liu had played yesterday, and he said to me with a bit of a smile, yes, it was a surprise. So, you know, he even surprised his own coach as to just what good form he was in, and certainly would never have guessed that he was ranked 20 places lower than his opponent yesterday, the way he beat him. But I think just before the match gets underway, another thing I want to make note of, Richard, is the fact that yesterday Lin Dan, when he was playing against Simon Santoso, had a very heavily bandaged left knee. No bandage on his knee at all today.
And what do we deduce from
well,
that?
I don't know. I mean, he was obviously worried yesterday. Normally, a player...
You're eagle-eyed, aren't you, Jill? You picked that up straight away. I'm very, very proud.
Yeah, well, you know...
But it's true. I mean, obviously, whatever the concern was, he didn't look in any problems yesterday when he was playing, so obviously those concerns have gone.
And we discussed it because we were keeping an eye on the fact that he was wearing the bandage, and we were worried about his movement, and we made comment about the fact he was moving exceptionally well, and here he is today. I know when I've had niggling injuries, you know, I keep bandaging all the way through the tournament.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn off the flashlights on your camera. Thanks for your cooperation.
Malaysia to serve. Love all. Play.
Girash Natu is our umpire from India. Well, Malaysia's worst fears came true when the draw was made last night. After the despair of losing the #1 player in the world, the draw against the #1 team in the world now. What a prospect for Darren Liu here against Lin Dan, who takes the opening point. And certainly a team down, aren't they? But not yet out, Malaysia. Off and running.
That's a nicely constructed rally from Darren Liu.
Quarter-finalists of the All England Championship.
As a qualifier. Came through the qualifying event to reach that quarter-final. It was very, very impressive indeed.
Played well at the Swiss Open as well, but it's just since then that his form has taken a bit of a dip, which is why yesterday probably did come as a surprise to the Malaysian coaches. Lin Dan, well, he never seems to hit a dip in form, does he?
Oh, it's just wide. That's a good rally. Well, Richard, just picking up on that last comment about Lin Dan, doesn't seem to have a dip in form in major competition. I totally agree with you, but there's a couple of odd results that I noticed last year. Last 16 of the Denmark Open, lost to a Hong Kong player, Wong Wing Ki, and then lost to Sho Sasaki in Indonesia as well. Sho Sasaki is a top 10 player, but certainly against the Hong Kong player,
sure,
it was
yeah.
To me, it was a very surprising loss.
I would say, to say the least, a surprising loss, because he is such a consistent performer that you can't see him losing that kind of game, can he? If he's fully concentrated, anyway.
Absolutely, and of course we shouldn't forget that Jan Jorgensen earlier this year beat Lin Dan as well. And Jan Jorgensen, of course, yesterday lost to Darren Liu. But the big tournaments like this, where he's playing for his country, the major championships, Lin Dan always seems to raise his game.
Well, this is his 6th Thomas Cup. It's his 27th match in Thomas Cup history, and he's only ever lost one.
Well, that one loss, if I remember correctly, was back in 2008 in the semi-final against Malaysia and against Lee Chong Wei. Oh, that's magnificent. Lee Yongbo, head coach. Oh, I thought that was going wide. Luck of the net cord.
But the confidence of last night's performance, obviously telling in the early stages here for Darren Liu. Certainly not overawed, certainly feels very at home here in this Wuhan Sports Centre. Tonight as well. It's out.
is over.
Oh, it's called good. A little look from Lin Dan towards the line judge.
Oh, it was comfortably in. At least from my view it was. I don't think it was even a case of hitting it on the line.
No, but I thought Lin Dan looking towards the line judge was perhaps a little hopeful.
There you call it out.
Ugh. It's not only the angle of the shot, it's also the deception. Just cannot tell which way he's going to hit it, whether he's going to go straight down the line or play that slice across court. That's short.
Impressive.
Service over. 7-10.
That takes us to the interval then. 4-point advantage at the break for Lin Dan. Some terrific shots, don't we, of players, their reactions, and most of all, how they stretch and lean and make the most of every centimetre of their body to get the racket on the shuttle. The focus of the eyes on the shuttle.
11-7. Play.
Thrashing at it, is it? It's all timing.
Service over. Eight, 11. Left. Play.
Yeah, it's well done.
I know you said you were on the bus in coming in with Rashid Sidek. Darren was also on your trip in, wasn't he, as well? He looks a very calm, laid-back character and on the court. Similar story off the court, isn't it?
Yes, he's a very shy man. Just quietly contemplating, I think, getting his mind in focus when we were coming down here on his match ahead of him, and well,
as you say, this is the first time he's ever played one of the game's biggest stars of all time. right now, he's certainly not disgracing himself. It's interesting, though. I know you were watching as well, Jill, the Chinese ladies in action earlier on today. The men so far have looked absolutely faultless. I know they have dropped one game in the men's doubles, but the ladies look a little shaky in comparison, at least, anyway.
Yes, and I think there's probably very good reason for that, because as far as the women's singles players are concerned, they've got the top 4 ranked players in the world, which in essence means that China can select 3 of those 4 to go to the Olympic Games, and they're all feeling a little bit jittery as to whether they're going to be selected for the London Olympics or not. And when you consider that Wang Yihan in the past, when she was world #1, had a bad loss at the last Hubei Cup finals, lost at first singles to the Korean #1 player, and on the back of that got dropped by Lee Yongbo and not selected as one of 4 singles players to go to the Asian Games, and told that she had to prove herself again.
That lone lady there was in action as well, wasn't she, in the women's doubles, Wu Yang.
But it does.
They dropped a game as well, unbelievably, to the German pair. That's great from Darren Liu, by the way. But yeah, obviously it's going to provide tension, and there's no such tensions, is there, in the men's squad? Everyone knows exactly what they're going to be doing in London.
Absolutely, and therefore there's no uncertainty about it. They all know exactly who's going. They can then focus on the Thomas Cup and their preparations for this prior to the Olympics and so on. I think in the women's squad, I think there's just still a little bit of uncertainty.
Would it make sense, or are they trying to use this week as motivation, as we see some more of the ladies team there cheering the men on tonight, that they actually say that this is who's going?
I don't know whether it's been used as partly motivation. I suspect that it's actually Lee Yongbo is using it to see which of his 4 women's singles players can cope with the pressure best.
Oh, there's a rare mistake. Lin Dan missing a gilt-edged chance at the net, and it brings parity to the game. 13 points all now. That's more like it. Well, it looks like that missed chance has given Lin Dan the extra spur required to maybe finish this opening game off. Then again.
Service over. 14-15.
Very annoyed with himself. 1 error in a game. Well, that's annoying. 2, well, that's careless. It's interesting, isn't it, suddenly, this opening game?
And there is Rashid Sadek on the left, Tae-Soo Bok on the right. Very interesting.
I can't remember, I mean, we saw Lin Dan lose 7 points in a row on the first night to his opponent Rajiv Usev, but if I remember rightly, Rajiv Usev was winning those points rather than Lin Dan knocking him into the net.
First time in this opening game that Darren Liu has been in the lead, but not for long.
Talking away to himself, look at him there. I know some of it's directed towards the coaches, but he's talking to himself as well. Looks a bit agitated, Lin Dan. Another unforced error.
Service over.
And goes looking over to the
17.
court on his side.
Oh, so quick to pounce on the net there, Lin Dan.
17 all. Play.
Nothing at all that Darren Liu could do about that. He's got his nose in front here.
Service over.
He wishes, of course, Darren Liu, that Lee Chong-wei was here, but goodness me, he's stepping into his shoes here tonight and doing Malaysia proud. Lin Dan, a little bit agitated. But this is where he's so good, isn't it? These crucial points.
Play. 17.
Oh, my word.
Well, and
What?
an apology from Darren Liu, but he's got nothing to apologise for there.
There was incredible anticipation.
2 points from taking the opening game. That's going out. It's game points for Darren Liu.
20. Game point 17.
Well, he surprised his coaches yesterday with victory over Jan Jorgensen. Well, this would be a huge surprise. A mistake from Lin Dan, and Darren Liu takes the opening game of the men's singles in the quarterfinals of this Thomas Cup. Incredible. (21-17). And Lin Dan has it all to do. Garza surprised, not only did he lose the game, but in the manner in which he lost the game, particularly on that closing point as well.
Yes, indeed, and when you consider that he was 13-9 up at one stage, Lin Dan, to then lose it 21-17, quite frankly, is extraordinary.
Yeah.
And it, as you say, Richard, it was so many unforced errors. Having said that, I thought that Darren Liu really upped his game. He started to take more initiative within the rally and tried to dictate the pace a little bit more, which was good. He really is playing well, isn't he?
Yeah, he could go from no hoper to the big hero. Who knows? Obviously a long way to go yet. And if you were a betting person, you'd probably still put your money on Lin Dan, but it is a turn up. What's happened so far?
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court
There's the stats from the opening game.
Yeah, when you look at how many overhead winners Lindan hit and more winners from the net as well, that is a clear indication, the fact that he still lost the game, of how many unforced errors he must have hit as well.
Yep.
Second game. Level.
The Olympic champion has been stung. Let's watch his reaction.
Thank you. One love.
Yeah, nice net play.
1-all.
And again.
Oh, very nice.
Just took a bit of pace out of that attacking shot, Lindan. And then defensively, opponents have to try and put pace on themselves, and that's a lot more difficult. Easier to feed off your opponent's pace.
Well, somehow Darren Dew's got to try and maintain the consistency that he showed in the opening game.
Oh, that's a great shot.
It's spectacular, isn't it? It's long. And a superb rally. Well, whatever happened in that first game, Lindan's given himself the proverbial kick up the backside.
5-1.
And he's getting a helping hand at the moment as well, isn't he, Lindan?
Service over. 2-6.
given out. Okay, just been out.
Yeah, I thought he just missed by a whisker.
It's given out as well. Again, that can't have been far away. Good call.
Well, a little bit dangerous from Darren Liu to lift across court to Lin Dan's forehand side, really asking for the straight smash down the line.
Turns away in disgust.
Service over. 4-9.
Well, he's producing, throwing in with a few bad ones still, but he's throwing in more good ones now.
Yes, and I think he's just upped his pace of movement. He's not hitting the shuttle any harder, he's not trying to attack more, but what he's trying to do, and succeeding very well indeed, is Lin Dan is just getting to the shuttle earlier, and that's putting more pressure on the Malaysian. Less time to react.
Well, it's a very comfortable lead, 11-4, but don't forget it was 11-7 the interval after the first game, and we all know what happened after that.
Clock 1, 20 seconds. Clock 1, 20 seconds. Left, Linda, Linda.
Well, Lin Dan on the comeback trail.
Play. Service over. 5-11.
Well, I'd love to know what Rashid Sadek advised his man in that interval. Certainly, I think defensively, the Malaysian should try turning the shuttle and then pressurise from the net as much as possible. I think Lin Dan's command of the net is
5-11.
so good. He's so accurate with his net shots that I think you need to push him off just slightly. There we go.
Work to treat.
6-11.
It was in. Well in.
Oof, was it?
Say, was it?
Certainly wasn't well in.
In's in, isn't it? It's either in or out, isn't it?
Well,
No, I know what you mean. It was a bit closer
make
than
your
I
own
thought.
minds up, I think, on that one. Oof, string's gone in the rackets. That's why he made the error.
Got to find the right one. There we go. You know they do that, the knock-up, you know, just to check the racket's okay. Has anyone ever gone, oh, no, it's no good, that one?
No, that's happened on many an occasion.
Yeah, I've never seen it, that's all.
Tennis players never test out a new racket, do they?
No.
Oh, that is fabulous. My goodness me. How did he create that angle?
7-15.
Just shows what he's capable of.
Yeah, and I thought yesterday against Jan Jorgensen he was using those angled to steep smashes to great effect.
Yeah. It's a commanding lead, isn't it, for Lindan in this second game? Looks like it's all to play for in the final.
Oh, glorious. Such disguise. Such precision too. He took that so late. Normally when a player takes it late at the back of the court, they inevitably clear the shuttle, just get rid of it.
Service over. 8-17.
Wow.
Close call.
I have to say I was surprised at that call. No, line judge absolutely correct.
It was well out.
I better get my glasses tested, hadn't I?
We will have the second match of Hubei Province quarterfinals women's double in court 2. Representing Indonesia, Gracia Sproli. Mariana Johari. Representing Japan, Mizuki Fiji. Reina Kaku.
Well, mistaken judgment there from Lindan.
Service over. 9-19.
after leaving one and then seeing it go in. Did well to leave that one and just see it go out. And it brings up 11 game points. So parity is restored by Lindan here. Very convincing second game, 21-9. But Darren Liu with enough in that game to suggest that he could still make a big fight of this.
Oof. Third coach there came on and said something. That's not supposed to happen.
As if 2 wasn't enough.
Well, you're only allowed to nominate 2. And only 2 are allowed to go onto court and talk to the player. Yeah, it really is the overhead winners that is the outstanding thing from Lindan. Yeah, good to see that Darren Liu holding his own on the net plate.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds. Final game.
So third game, men's singles, quarterfinals of the Thomas Cup. And Lindan means business.
Service over. 1 all.
It's a great net shot. Good lift too. There's the turn defence. Every time he's putting it up deep and giving Lindan time in that forehand corner. Lindan is winning the rally. You've either got to give less time or I suggest not playing it into his forehand side. Yeah, less time there.
to be a potent weapon, isn't it? 229 on this match for Lindan. There's another one. Back in his rhythm now. Having just seen those men at the back, you get the feeling that Lindan's going to drum home his advantage here.
Problem is when you play against Lindan, you know that unless you hit the perfect net shot, it's going to be pounced on, and therefore in trying to hit the perfection the whole time, you're bound to make one or two errors.
Again, his margins away there, trying to find the angle here. Look how close this is. We've been so successful with the smashes. Of course, that was exactly what Darren Liu was expecting, so he went to feign it and played a short one, but didn't put it off. Well, it's Darren Liu's first Thomas Cup. I'm sure it'll be one he won't forget. With every likelihood that Malaysia are going to go out tonight, he can certainly come away with his head held high from his week here in Wuhan.
Absolutely, and I hope that he draws on the confidence that he must surely have gained from this tournament, because there's no doubt he's a very, very talented player. And Malaysia have been asking for a long time who's going to eventually take over from Lee Chong-wei. Well, he's a young man who's very, very talented indeed.
Long 9-2 now, the advantage for Lindan.
Short. Yeah, got what it deserved.
Big golf is suddenly appearing on the main court here in Wuhan. Oh, up to 241 now. So there's the interval, and how things can change very quickly. Oh, tough task ahead now for Darren Liu. It wasn't already in the first place, but he gave himself a platform in this match after taking that opening game. But since then, he's only taken 11 points. Sense of cockiness even in that rally from Lin Dan. His swagger back. I'm not sure if Darren has got a little problem with his hand. He keeps looking at it. I don't know if you've noticed that, Jill. He's
Yes, I think he definitely has. He's just shaking his hand at the moment, and a couple of times I've thought that perhaps the racket has just slipped in his grip. He's not holding the racket as he normally would, and that's possibly because of a slight injury.
Yeah, there's certainly a suspicion of it. I've just noticed him looking at it a few times, especially in the interval.
Yeah, just trying to force the pace a little there. I think that was the right idea, but just making an error on that occasion. Yeah, sadly, it looks to me as if Darren Liu has lost his belief. Little glance there towards the adjoining court rather than focusing in on his job in hand. It's going to go wide.
Yeah, and it's getting easier and easier for Lin Dan. 13 points he leads by in this final game, 5 points from victory.
Oh.
Given out. Again, that was questionable, but they've got most of these right. They got that one wrong.
No, that one was definitely wide. That too.
Puts another point on the board, Darren Liu. But it's all a forlorn hope now. The high hopes of the first game have quickly disappeared. So match points have arrived. The excitement has completely gone out of this match. And Lin Dan has shown his class tell in the end. It's long, it's over in 3 games. For a while there were some nerves in the China camp. Lin Dan looked agitated. He was making some very rare unforced errors, but, well, like a true champion, he came back in the proper manner. And after taking the opening game, only 14 further points for Darren Liu. 21-5 to Lin Dan in that final game, and China are 1 up in the quarter-final of the Thomas Cup. It was the winning point in a disappointing end to a good beginning for Darren Liu. It's a confirmation of the scoreline: 17-21, 21-9, 21-5 in favour of the world number 2. 3 wins out of 3 so far for him at this week's Thomas Cup. The stats, again, it's the overhead winners that stick out for Lin Dan. All's well that ends well. China off the mark then. So China 1, Malaysia 0. That's the scoreline after the men's singles. And coming up, what should hopefully be a very entertaining men's doubles affair between Cai Yun and Fu Haifeng, up against the Malaysian pair of Koo Kian Kiat and Tan Boon Hyung, back together after their little separation yesterday.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn off the flashes on your camera. Thanks for your cooperation.
The world number 1 pair meeting the world ranked number 8 pair, but fair to say, while Cai Yun and Fu Haifeng keep going along in a very consistent manner, which is very good, and very good. Not quite been the same consistency for Koo and Tan, who are seemingly on the slide. And they weren't even picked together for yesterday's match against Denmark, even though they had a a 7-3 record against Bowen Mogensen. Tan Kim Hare's doubles gamble certainly didn't pay off, and he's put his strongest pair back together and his strongest number 2 pair out in the second doubles, if we get that far. In some respect, you can understand what he was trying to do, because Ku and Tan, well, they've not been at their best in recent times, Jill.
No, they've been struggling a little bit, but then when you've been world number 1 for 54 weeks, there's only one way to go, isn't there? You can't get any higher than that. And of course, they were world number 1s between October 2009 and November 2010. So, you know, they did have the most incredible run. And, you know, they've just gone off the boil a little bit. I think when they first formed their partnership, you know, they won the Asian Games gold medal in Doha in 2006. There was great excitement about them with their first full year on tour, which of course was 2007, 6 titles that year. And, you know, it was such a sensational start to their partnership that, you know, I think there's a time when perhaps a few years later it gets a little bit stale, and perhaps you need to try something a little bit different to get that spark back again. But don't write them off. They're still a world-class pair, in my opinion.
They are. They're extremely entertaining at times as well, but they are up against a very impressive duo in Fu Haifeng and Kai Yun. They have been absolutely brilliant. Obviously, they've still got the Olympics to look to, and to try and improve on their 2 previous Olympics, quarter-finalists, semi-finalists before, and well, they could end up meeting this pair in the Olympics in London as well. They have met on many occasions. This is their 13th meeting. At the moment, Fu and Kai lead 8-4.
I think what's interesting on that, though, Richard, is the fact that 8 of those 12 meetings have gone the full distance, gone to 3 games. But in recent times, you have to say that the Chinese pair have been quite dominant. They've won 6 of the last 7 meetings. So psychologically, I think for the Malaysians, this is quite a tough one. Look at that win-loss record for the year, 9-1. Only 2 tournaments, individual tournaments played. Won the Korean Open, lost in the final of the All England to Jung Jae-sung and Lee Yong-dae. And of course, Jung Jae-sung not here, suffering from a lower back injury.
Yeah, they're the only ones that have that beaten them. Well, there's the win-loss ratio for Tan and Ku this year. 13 wins, 4 defeats. Did win when they defended their title in Malaysia, the Grand Prix event there. But lost in the quarterfinals of the Indian Open prior to that, and lost in the second round to Wei Hong and Yixin in the second round of the All England. Confirmation there, the last meeting did go to 3 games, 21-19 as well in the final game. But as you mentioned, 8-4 maybe to Fu and Kai, but bearing in mind Ku and Tan won their first 2 meetings when they met back in 2007. It's certainly been the Chinese pair dominant since then.
I should just point out as well, Richard, that these head-to-head statistics we get are only from ranking tournaments. So when they've met in Asian Games,
yeah,
those haven't counted towards these head-to-head statistics.
Well, this is a mouth-watering clash, isn't it, really? Much to look forward to here. What will we get from Ku and Tan? I think we pretty much know what we're going to get from Kai and Fu. They're a great consistency, but if Tan and Ku can be at their best, it could be one of the great matches of the week.
Absolutely. And perhaps Ku and Tam will say to themselves they've got nothing to lose, in that they're not expected to win. Pressure's off. Wolfgang Lund from France, our umpire.
China to serve. Chaiyun to get level play.
So China lead by 1-0 in the tie. Can Ku and Tan show that they should have been together yesterday in the match against Denmark? They've got a point to prove. They've taken the opening point.
That's a super return.
You've noticed the bandaging that have been removed off the knees of Lin Dan. I think you spotted another one, haven't you, Jill?
Yes, indeed. I noticed yesterday that Fu Haifeng, the left-handed Chinese player, was playing with his elbow heavily strapped, and today doesn't appear to be wearing any strapping. Still got strapping on his knee, though, but certainly not on his elbow as he did yesterday.
Fast start by the Malaysians.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
this is what he can do. He's such a flamboyant, exciting player to watch when he's at his best.
Yes, and yesterday I didn't see any of this sort of inspirational play.
There's two of them already from him. Great flick serve. Oh, got out of the way well, didn't he there, Fu Haifeng? Dodged a bullet.
Great angle on the smash there from Chaiyun.
Well, one world #1 pair saluting another world #1 pair there.
That's clever. Oh, he's missed it. Well, you'd normally expect every time that Chaiyun goes forward to the net that he's going to play a winner.
A misunderstanding there.
Oh, yes.
Service over.
Tan Boon Hyung did very well to get back for the flick serve. And then Koo in a change of pace at the net.
Well, Koo and Tan made such a good start here. They were 5-1 up, but they head into the interval 11-8 down, and terrific response by Cai Yun and Fu Haifeng there. They really turned that around. Not that the Malaysians did anything particularly wrong, but so consistent again, weren't they? They're the Chinese. I have to see this as a real opportunity to gain some much needed confidence here, Koo and Tan. Just keeping the Malaysians at an arm's length here, aren't they?
Service over. 10, 12.
So often the Malaysians just appear to me to be too content to defend and lift it again and lift it again. And what they need to be doing is trying to turn their defensive play into their own attack by driving the shuttle back or turning it, blocking it.
14, 10.
Really sucked in the crowd there with that hard hitting. There they go again. And you're right, the Malaysians here somehow have to try and up their game here.
The second match of Thomas Cup quarterfinals in Court 3. Men's doubles representing Germany.
Oh my goodness.
That's how you turn it.
Representing Korea, Yu Hyun-sung, Ho Sung-hyun.
Extraordinary movement in that rally from Cai Yun at the front of the court. I don't know whether we'll get an opportunity to see it again, but when it went up to his partner's forehand side, he moved to the same side of the court, in other words, threatening the opponents and saying, don't you dare play it back in this direction.
12-15. Service over. 13-16.
I'd like to see him hit a good low serve and really hunt the net. Now you see he came from under it, wasn't trying to attack it.
Just try, they're doing their best here, aren't they? Tan to try and stay with them here.
That's better.
And now just within a point.
Now, when you've played that good low serve, you've got to have your racket up ready, looking for that third shot. And he did that quite brilliantly in that last rally, Tan Boon Hyung. And again.
Happy faces from the locals from Wuhan, the river city here in central China. But you see there, boys, back on the front foot again. 2-point advantage.
Well, wrong choice of shot, I suspect, from Koo Kian Kiat in the middle of that rally. That cross-court net shot played his side into trouble. Oh my goodness me. What was he trying to do there, Koo Kian Kiat?
I just think he saw a flash of Fu Hai Feng coming at him.
19-16.
Yeah, got it all wrong. The game is slipping away.
Good serve.
Service over. 17-19.
Oh, well left. Very good judgment from Kai Yun.
Brings up game points. And that's that. 21-17. I'm not trying to take anything away from Kai and Fu there, but it was a workmanlike opening game from them, wasn't it? It wasn't exactly like I felt like they had to be at their most explosive best to take that.
No, and that's the thing with Kai and Fu. You said right at the start of the match, you always know what you're going to get from them. They're very workmanlike, they're very professional. And as far as the Malaysians are concerned, for Malaysian fans, it will bother them that you always know that within the match, they'll give away some cheap points. They never manage to keep it tight enough for the entirety of a match. They show moments of absolute brilliance. Great to watch. They do the unexpected, but they'll also make some very, very naive choices.
In Portugal, women's doubles, representing Chinese Taipei, Wang Xingchen, Yu Jingqian. Representing Korea, Min Jung-kim,
Well,
Jin Ha.
is this to be the end of Malaysia's role at this Thomas Cup? Tan Boon Hyung, you just saw there. Look at the stats first. More overhead winners.
Twice as many. Same number of winners from the net. What does that tell us?
Yeah.
Tells us that the Malaysians must have made an awful lot of unforced errors. But 284 on Tan Boon Hyung's smash wasn't too shabby, was it?
Yeah, just 6 kilometers per hour past Kai's partner. Try of him. 290 we've had from Fu Haifeng.
Second game, love on, play.
Well, that's why you have to have your racket up ready after you've played a good low serve. I don't think Kai Yun actually knew much about that, but came off his racket and went over.
What the point?
Service over. 1-all.
Oh, that's quick.
Two, one. Three, one.
Yeah, good to see them talking to each other. Even a little smile.
There have been times when Ku and Tan haven't been talking to each other. I suppose partners do fall out now and again. It's inevitable. I know you've played many doubles matches with many partners, Jill. I'm sure you had your moments. Don't have to divulge any of them, but it's inevitable, isn't it, when you spend so much time with one person in practice and then on court.
Yeah, that's true. And, you know, the number of doubles partnerships that, you know, a country like China, of course, has so many excellent players to choose from. But other nations, perhaps some of the European nations and so on, they don't have so many choices, and you've got to put the two best players together, and there's no necessity for them to be friends off court, but it makes sense to play doubles together.
Well, can they maintain this start? They couldn't in game one. What about this one, game two?
6-2. Service over.
280. Fu Haifeng with that smash. Here comes another. This keeps coming back at them. Great rally. That's an important point. Tan Bun-Hyung there. Fourth Thomas Cup appearance for him finals-wise. Hardly played when he made his debut in 2006. And they were together with Kian Kiat in 2008, but they were dropped as a pair. Tan was the one dropped. And then, of course, in 2010, probably their highlight of their career when they beat Bo and Mogensen in that semi-final. Beg your pardon, quarter-final to get to the semi-final, wasn't it?
It's a lovely change of pace from the back of the court from Kai Yun, setting up the rally, setting up his partner.
Well, do I need to say what Kian Kiat thinks of it? He's convinced that's the wrong call. Will we see a replay? Yes, we will.
Oh, yeah, that was wide.
Well, he did have the best view of it, but you can sometimes they look at it with blinkered eyes, but he was right there, wasn't he? Let's hope that doesn't become a decisive moment. That definitely wide.
No, it might actually have a beneficial effect on the Malaysians in that it fires them up even more.
So it's fascinatingly poised now in this second game.
9-5,
Oh, goodness gracious.
6-9.
Well, two very loose rallies there from Kian Kiat.
Service over. 10-7.
Tan Kim He looking a little anxious at the moment.
Oh yeah, I mean the expectation of course is for China to win this match comfortably, but if Tan and Ku here can pull off the coup, and you just never know what might happen.
going miles out. Oh, they got away with it.
Yeah, they won the point in the end. Had to win it twice, though. Who was serving there? The Chinese.
Service over. 13-8. Service over. 9-13.
Service error, and then Ku putting it wide as well. Just gets this second game a little tighter. Still a good lead though for the Malaysian pair.
You know, that serve into the net, or that service error from Koo Kian Kiat just a moment ago, when the Malaysians were leading 13-8, all of a sudden hands the initiative back, and look, here we are, just 2 points in it. 5-point advantage. Simple error changes the momentum of a match.
Service over. 14-11.
A superb net shot from Fu Haifeng.
12-14.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, his racket's gone. He's running off to get a new racket. Oh,
how frustrating is that?
Oh, dear me.
He then got a new racket, and then his partner bids it out. Why did I bother? He's had one of those infuriating games, hasn't he? Kicking Kiat. The brilliance and the flamboyance mixed in with the needless errors.
13-14.
Now just 1 point in it.
Six of the last 7 points going to the Chinese pair.
And all started
with a service error.
And suddenly, Kai and Fu are ahead here. The height he gets on that. What a leap.
Service over.
Well, the Malaysians desperately needed that point. Can they build on it, though?
There's your answer, Jill. Comeback from Kai Yun and Fu Haifeng here gets them on the verge of giving China a 2-0 lead. He'll go all day if you like. Oh, it's a winner. You set him up, I'll knock him down.
Just do not understand the logic of the Malaysian pair in that rally. First of all, Koo Kian Kiat just so content to lift off the defence instead of trying to do something with the shuttle. And then finally, when they got the opportunity to attack themselves, he was static at the net. Didn't move at all to try and get that return.
It was a good shot to watch. That was tongue-in-cheek, Jim.
Service over. 16-18.
Suddenly, what looked like could become a 3-gamer, suddenly within the realms of possibility of ending very quickly. Kai and Fu closing in.
Service over. 17-19.
Agonizing for Tan. It brings up match points. One wasn't gobbled up, a couple more still remain. Comprehensive, really. 21-17, 21-18, and China are on the verge of a semi-final here as they look to win the Thomas Cup for a 5th year in a row. No panic, was there, from Fu Haifeng and Kai Yun. They trailed 13-8, but they gnawed away at the lead. Helped on their way by a few critical errors from the Malaysian duo, the former world number ones. Out of reach. And maybe so too of China here. Lin Dan and now Fu Haifeng and Kai Yun have put them on the verge of a place in the last 4. 36 minutes on court, 21-17, 21-18. Smash of 289 from Fu Haifeng. 1 short, that's a kilometre per hour short of his fastest. And it's pretty close in terms of winners, it's those errors.
So that confirms that China 2-love up after the first 2 matches in this quarter-final of the Thomas Cup here in Wuhan. Next on court, second men's singles, Chen Long, the world number 3, up against Mohammed Hafiz Hashim. Chen Long played both group matches against Ben Beckman of England and Tommy Sugiarto of Indonesia. He's undefeated so far. In fact, nobody's taken a game off him. But this, a real pressure situation for Mohammed Hafiz Hashim. Must-win situation. Odds are stacked against him, it has to be said. Chen Long, not only world number 3, but such a physically strong athlete. And Hashim, at the age of 29, well, he's already left the national training setup, become an independent player, because his recent form has been judged to perhaps be on the way down. But certainly we have seen glimpses in recent times of his utter brilliance, including yesterday in the group match against Denmark when he beat Hans Christian Vittinghus in 3 games. It was, of course, a dead match in that Malaysia were already 3-1 up in the overall tie against 3-1 down, I should say, against Denmark. So for Chen Long, the 23-year-old from Fujian Province, former world junior champion, won the title back in 2007. 4 titles last year, but so far this year, Chen Long, by his own very high standards, has been struggling a little. His win-loss record for the year translates into 3 semi-finals, a quarter-final, and indeed a first-round loss when he withdrew partway through the Korean Open first match that was. So to his opponent, Mohamed Hafiz Hashim from Kota Baru in Malaysia. Tall man, 188, that's about 6'2". And as you can see, while I was saying that his form of late has been questionable, his win-loss record for the year in the negative. And as you can see, this is the 5th meeting between these 2 players, and the only time that the Malaysian has won was in fact their very first meeting, which dates back to the 2009. So 3 years on, and one has to say that the 23-year-old Chen Long has improved so much over the last 3 years. And given the fact that he's won the last 3 encounters between these 2 players, Steen Petersen, former head coach of Denmark, you have to favour Chen Long in this.
Yes, I think that he's perhaps even the biggest favourite we've seen yet in this match. Lin Dan, of course, was another contender for that title, but Darren Lee, he really played well. I think Chen Long is highly motivated here, and I know that Mohamed Hafiz Hashim won that match against Hans Christian Vittinghus, but I wasn't really impressed with his play there. I thought the pace was not up to the standards that we've seen Chen Long produce so far in this tournament.
Mike Walker of Canada.
China, represented by Chen Long.
Girish Natu is our service judge from India.
Play.
Now, starts in very positive fashion, does Hashim. You say that yesterday against Vittinghus didn't really play at the pace you would like to see him play, Hashim. Has he got to play more of an attacking style today? Or I would have thought that Chen Long is such a good athlete and he's such a good retriever of the shuttle. What sort of tactics should the Malaysian be using?
Yeah, I think he should be patient, but he should try to take control of the rallies. I think Chen Long is quite a bit stronger in his defense than Hafiz is in his own, and therefore he needs to try to control the match. But the problem is that Chen Long is such a good defensive player, so he will have to work really, really hard, and I'm not really sure that that Mohamed Hashim is capable of doing that. I read in the Malaysian media that he had a small foot injury. Didn't seem to bother him too much yesterday, but I don't think I see him beating Chen Long if he's having an injury.
No, I guess to beat any player ranked in the top 4 in the world, you really have to be at 100% full fitness. Oh, that's nice. Of course, Chen Long, last year's World Championships, day one, it was probably one of the biggest upsets of the whole tournament. Chen Long, who was the number 5 seed, lost in the very first round to Kevin Corden of Guatemala, having had 3 match points but failed to convert. That was the big talking point.
And that match is going to haunt him for a very long time.
Yeah,
so that when you say Chen Long and sort of discuss him as a contender for titles, you in the same sentence say Kevin Corden.
Yeah, but I have to say the way he responded after that particular defeat, the next 3 tournaments he played, he won, and they were all Super Series events, and that's the sign of a great champion, the way they fight back after a disappointment.
Yes, exactly, and it's perhaps 1 out of 20 of these matches that he lost here, and I think he'd much rather lose it at the Worlds than at the Olympics in a few months.
Yeah.
And we don't know, he might have been ill, he might have been sick. It's just notable because we didn't expect it to happen against Kevin Corden, and we also have to give Kevin Corden that he played an excellent match.
Oh, he played a blinder. It was absolutely magnificent. So 4 straight points. Wang Shixian lending her support. Just wide. Of course, Mohammed Hafiz Hashim's great moment, I suppose, winning the All England Championship back in 2003 as an unseeded player and beat the then world number 1 Chen Hong in the final. But never really built on that wonderful result, never seemed to really fulfill his undoubted potential.
No, it was like, it was such a big thing for Malaysia to finally, after
37 years.
37 years draft, they got an All England champion, and yeah, it takes character to win one, but it also takes character to get over winning one, especially if you experience a lot of fortune and fame, which I'm sure Hafiz Hashim did back in Malaysia.
Yeah. Well, 7 straight points now.
Even though Chen Long has been dominant so far, after trailing 3-0, we have to give it to Hafiz that he's playing at a better pace today, and of course the thing that the match was decided yesterday, I think, played an important role in the match we saw him play against Wittinghus, trying to save energy for this match. Perhaps one of the explanations that Hafiz has dropped quite a bit in the rankings is that he actually I think he's playing a lot like when he won the All England title, but it's just 9 years ago now, so he hasn't really been able to develop his game, and it's of course also difficult because he's such a tall player.
Just explain that a little bit more. Why is it difficult as a tall player to develop a game or improve, get a little quicker? Is it?
Yeah, he sort of he could easily get a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
Practicing a little bit harder, perhaps, but his style is, the way I see it, quite controlling, and he needed desperately to improve his defense and his movements in the defense, and it seems that he's not very explosive, so to speak, in his defense. And I know that sounds strange, but when you're in the defense, you need to move really fast.
Yes,
and Hafiz is much better moving fast from a more upright position.
Oh, it's found the back line.
10-5.
Great length.
For the viewers at home, it could be a good experience to try to watch the two players' footwork, see how quickly they recover.
Yes, and perhaps the contrast between the two men. Charles Ranger, former world champion, coach there. He was a great defensive player, wasn't he? Charles Ranger, world champion in 2003. When the championships were played in Birmingham, but I think you probably remember those world championships for a different reason, because of a men's doubles pair from Denmark taking the gold medal. Lars Borsker and Jonas Rasmussen, of course.
That was a fantastic tournament. Also, it's quite funny to think that it was also in 2003 that Hafiz won his All England title. And Shia is now coaching while Hafiz is still playing on. So what level would he have if he'd still been playing?
11,
Yeah.
5, play.
I think only 4 or 5 months in between these two tournaments.
Service over. 6-11.
He actually beat another Malaysian player in the final back then.
Wong Chun Han.
Service over. 12-6.
Oh, that's just delightful. What a super shot. Reverse slice, straight drop from Chen Long.
And look at Hafiz's legs. Oh, it takes a lot of time to move in the right direction here.
Yes, in fact, he almost seemed to take a backward step, didn't he, instead of just exploding towards the shuttle.
If we see Chen Long, he's not a small player, approximately the same height as Hafiz, but you can see from his leg muscles that he's just so strong. He will be able to take most of these deceptions, to absorb them quite quickly and then move in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly the same shot. The reverse slide straight drop, once again doing the damage. Well, 14 of 17 points.
Service over. 7-14.
Beautiful smash there from Hafiz.
Two victories over Lee Chong-wei at the end of last year for Chen Long. Yeah. Here's a golden opportunity.
And Chen Long forces these kind of errors with his playing style, never giving up, retrieving a lot of smashes that you think you've won, and it's all coming back. So you want to play as accurate as possible, and sometimes you try a little too much.
2号场地将进行尤伯杯4分之1决赛第3场的比赛，印度尼西亚队阿德里安蒂、费达萨里对阵日本队广濑荣离子。
The third match of Hubei quarterfinals, women's single, court 2.
Just wide.
Indonesia, Adanti Vigasari, representing Japan, European Carousel.
Well, appears to me as if Hafiz Hashim is already in this opening game beginning to run out of ideas.
Yeah. Nobody likes losing the decisive match, and I'm afraid that's what Hafiz is going to do tonight. Can't help thinking how different his playing style is from his brothers. If you sort of could combine these two, then you'd have an excellent player.
Yes, of course, his brother, Roslin Hashim, former world #1. #1 seed at the Seville World Championships.
2001.
Yep.
17-8.
Good judgment.
Service over. 9-17.
Well, he was helped by the luck of the net cord, badly deflected the shuttle and made the defence very awkward for Hafiz. But he's just so solid within the rally, isn't he, Chen Long?
It's very rarely that he gives away 3 points to his opponents. He's got such good shot quality.
And very rarely that you get him out of position either.
Yeah, his recovery is so quick. We also must say that Hafiz has played much better today than we saw him yesterday. So,
18-9.
had the match against Witting, who's been a decisive match, I fear for Denmark that we would have gotten the same result as we got yesterday, just in another way.
Yeah, so if it had been 2-2 going into that third men's singles rather than 3-1 in Denmark's favour, you're saying that perhaps Denmark could have ended with a loss 3-2 instead of a win 3-2.
I'm afraid so, because I think that Witting, who's played not his best, but the best he could yesterday, given his late back injury and his late arrival here in Wuhan.
That's very, very... Oh!
Nice to see that in slow. See
Yeah.
if the umpire was correct.
Well, he called a fault, but I think he called a fault on Hafiz having touched the shuttle. He wasn't calling a fault on Chen Long.
Yeah, you're right. Chen Long is getting ready to serve.
Perfect example in that rally of the recovery of Chen Long, using those powerful legs when seemed to be off balance to immediately get himself back in position. And that great movement and great retrieving.
And even though he was so much under pressure, he still managed to get a quality shot back.
Yep.
Almost at the baseline.
Game points.
See?
And one will do. Well, considering that he lost the first 3 points of the match, as soon as he was into his stride, really looking very impressive, Chen Long. 20 minutes for that opening game, 21-10. Well, there's another former world champion doing the coaching, Citroën. Won the world title in Seville when Hafiz Hashim's brother was the #1 seed. Citroën, representing Indonesia, won the gold medal.
Beating Peter Gaither in the final, so we got a couple of old-timers in this tournament.
17-16 in the second game, if I remember correctly.
That's correct. 15-6, 17-16.
Well, better in all departments, Chen Long.
Court 1, 20
And I
seconds.
wonder what Hendren was saying to Hafiz here, because I wouldn't really know what to say other than just do your best and just keep going. I know a funny coaching conversation in Denmark Open when Mohammed Hashim was on his way to beating Mark Thwiebler. It was 11-4 in the decider, and apparently Hendren said to Hafiz, just keep going until 16, and then you're home safe. And Hafiz did as told, proceeded till 16-4, and then lost. And Mark Thwiebler went on to go into the final of Denmark Open, where he eventually lost to, I think it was Peter Gade.
I think he lost to Simon Santoso, actually.
Yeah, you're right.
But in all seriousness, though, Steen, I mean, is it a dilemma for a coach? Is there a point where you say, watching a match like this, that actually Hafiz hasn't any longer got the capabilities and the physical speed and strength to match Chen Long, that you really, as a coach, don't believe he can win anyway, and therefore, what do you say to the player?
Yeah, it's sort of keeping up appearances. It's really difficult, really difficult. Because he probably doesn't even himself believe that he can win this match. Something extraordinary must happen, like yesterday when Lee Chong-wei twisted his ankle against Peter Gade.
Heavens forbid! Please no, not another injury. But I understand exactly what you mean. You've always got to keep fighting, because something like that could happen, and then, you know, then the match is yours. But
had it been 2-0 for Malaysia and Chen Long was under some kind of mental pressure, it would have been another case. But I can't really see what should sort of trigger his eventual mental downfall here. He's playing an excellent match. Everything just keeps coming back.
I think the court is going to need to be mopped of the perspiration. Rarely shows much emotion, this man from Malaysia. Whereas I remember Chen Long, when he beat Lee Chong-wei in the final of the Japan Open last year, ripped his shirt off, jumped over the advertising boards, rushed over to his coach.
Of course, be differences in personality, but I also think that it illustrates quite well the desire to win and the different positions in their career. They're simply at 2 different stages. Chen Long is on his way to his best moments, and Hafiz is on his way to retirement.
Yeah. But that's not to say that he doesn't have every desire to win this particular encounter. I'm sure that his motivation do well in the Thomas Cup, just as high as ever. But I think players get to a stage when, you know, you've won the major titles. He's won the All England. He was Commonwealth Games gold medalist. You know, he probably knows in his own mind he'll never achieve those sort of things again. So it's not so much, it's easy as a player to come to a major championship like this and your motivation's right up there. But the problem is the day-to-day, week in, week out, month out, training hard every day. That's where it gets so tough.
I'm smiling a little bit here in the commentator seat because I feel like you're reading my mind. When you're standing in there, you really want to win, but
yeah,
it's the everyday hard work, and I'm pretty sure that Chen Long is working much harder every day than Hafiz Hashim does.
Yeah.
Let's just experiment with the thought that, that we were being put in charge, you and I, for Hafiz Hashim tomorrow to coach him the next 5 years towards Rio. He will only be 34. That's less than Peter Gade's age at the moment. So one of the first things that we should do was to sort of create in his mind a belief, convey an idea of how he was going to play so that he could gain more in the future than he'd done in his career so far. That would be absolutely necessary. Unless we were capable of that, it would be a hopeless task to try and improve him dramatically. Not to say that it couldn't be done, because I've seen it with a Danish player, a quite famous one actually, Paul Erik Høyer, who at a time in his career had fallen behind Thomas Sture Lauritsen and was the Danish number 2, and then sort of got revived, and after that winning a lot of international titles and of course the Olympic gold medal in '96. So it can be done.
Absolutely. And prior to that Olympic title, he won 2 All Englands back-to-back, 95 and 96, I think it was. I think you would have more of a problem though with Hafiz.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jill, and it's definitely not a job application.
Good defense. Well, nothing you can do against that. Luck of the net cord favouring Chen Long. Great backhand. Oh, well, he had a little look at it. Knew in the end that he should have played it because it landed plumb on the line. Has a little look. Look, he actually tries to play it in the end.
I think it was partly judgment, partly hope that he decided to let that one fall.
Well, concerning body language for all Malaysian fans from Hashim after that error on the net reply. 6 straight points from Chen Long. Seven straight points from Chen Long. Now, the 6-point advantage. Well, it looks like he's still giving Hafiz some tactical advice.
I wonder what they might be.
Well, things looking very much in China's favour at the moment. Of course, 2-love up in the overall time, best of 5 matches. And of course, from quarterfinals onwards, we don't contest the dead matches within the tie. So if Chen Long was to push home here, push home his advantage and actually win this second men's singles, then China would be secure of a semi-final berth once again in the Thomas Cup. In fact, since China first entered this competition back in 1982, they have always reached at least the semi-final. And if they win this tie, it will be their 16th consecutive Thomas Cup semi-final. That really is quite a record.
Also quite remarkably that we will have lost both Malaysia and Indonesia before the semi-finals.
Yeah, we'll have to check the record books and see if that's ever happened before.
I'm not sure it has. Sort of Japan has introduced itself into the top badminton nations.
Yes, and in fact, Japan await the winner of this quarter-final tie because Japan beat Indonesia earlier today. It's 3-2. Oh, that's magnificent backhand.
We saw Hendriman coaching in the interval between the sets and the break here, but I don't think he's the regular coach of Hafiz Hashim. I think he's independent.
Yes, that's right. Hafiz Hashim is left Badminton Association of Malaysia. Competes independently.
bit of a sign the way I see it, because we know there's some independent players from Indonesia as well, and oh, what a great rally this one is.
Oh, he's hit it long. Yes, but I think what's very interesting about Hafiz Hashim, and despite the fact that he's an independent player, when Malaysia were competing in the Axiata Cup recently, he was very vocal about the fact that Malaysia didn't act well enough as a team. And therefore he urged all of his fellow Malaysian players that they really had to get together for the Thomas Cup. And in response to that, Badminton Association of Malaysia organised not only a training camp, but a team building camp in Guangzhou. All the players came to China and trained in Guangzhou before coming here to Wuhan.
And this sort of illustrates what we were talking about earlier, that it's too little, too late.
Yeah.
The work that has brought China to this position hasn't been done during the last month, even during the last year. It's a very, very long-term commitment.
Indecision at the back of the court, costing him dear.
And I think we have yet to see independent players performing to the standards they had when they were actually members of the national team. Or perhaps I should say consistently performing to the level they had when they were members of the national team, because we've seen glimpses from Taufik, from Kido and Citroën, but the consistency is gone.
This is a lovely smash.
And it could be interesting to see statistics on smash returns, how many has Chen Long returned and how many has Hafiz Hashim been able to get back over the net. I think there's quite a big difference.
Yes, and I suspect that error on that last smash from Hafiz Hashim, the fact that he felt he had to go for the line, because otherwise Chen Long would indeed have got it back. Yeah, goodness me.
Look at the quality. It's so amazing that he's able to play with that quality under so much pressure, Chen Long.
Yeah, incredible. 2 or 3 times in that rally, I thought he was way out of position, was going to be in trouble. And as you say, somehow doesn't just get it back, he gets it back with interest. And then his recovery back to be ready for the following shot is just incredible. Mentally, I guess Chen Long just wears down opponents. Start to think to yourself, well, how on earth do I win a rally? What have I got to do? Works the rally time and time again, Chen Long. waits for the right opportunity before he tries playing his smash. And on a run of 5 straight points now, with an 8-point advantage. A moment's respite from the pressure.
I'm thinking back a little bit to the interval where it seemed like Hendron was still giving tactical advice, and I feel that it doesn't make any sense to give tactical advice in this situation, because it's clear that this match is decided on physical skills level, and to have a chance here, Hafiz simply needed to improve his skills level in the physique department, so to speak.
Well, China now just 3 points away from a 3rd point in the overall tie, and therefore victory and a place in the semi-final. Another one drifts along of that back line. Does keep looking down at his hand, doesn't he, Chen Long? I wonder if he's grazed himself with one of those dives. Oh. Shuttle hit his head.
That's so great about the development in badminton, that in the beginning when Lin Dan started these diving retrieval of smashes, he was the only one doing it, and now every top player in the top 10 is doing them, because it's just a natural part of the game now.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn off the flashlights on your camera. Thanks for your cooperation.
Well, he's had a few of those today. Lucky net cords. But now China on the verge of yet another semi-final place in the Thomas Cup. Oh, that's way long. Comprehensive victory in the end for China after what has to be said, a little bit of a wobbly start with the first men's singles. But Li Yongbo goes and shakes hands with the Malaysians, while his man Chen Long secures his victory over Mohammed Hafiz Hashim, 21-10, 21-11 in 46 minutes. Almost as if he changed his mind on that final shot, Hashim. So confirmation of the score, 21-10, 21-11. And 3-love for China in this quarter-final of the Thomas Cup. Congratulated by coaches Li Yongbo and teammates. The remaining matches within the tie will, of course, not now be contested. And looking at the match statistics, well, better in all departments, really, Chen Long. More than twice as many overhead winners. commanding the nets. And as Steen Peterson was pointing out, Hashim just not the physicality to be able to cope with so much attacking play and so much great movement by Chen Long. So that confirms the fact that China will be in the semi-final once more. 3-love victory over Malaysia, taking the first 3 matches. The first men's singles, though, going the full distance, and that was a huge surprise to many of the spectators that Darren Liu took the opening game against world and Olympic champion Lin Dan, but order was restored, and he came back strongly in 3 games. Well, there you can see that they will indeed play Japan in the semi-final. That will be Friday, the semi-finals for the Thomas Cup. One more place in the semi-final yet to be decided, but as you can see, Korea at the moment 2-love up against Germany. So that to be decided who takes on Denmark in the bottom half of the draw in the semi-finals. Well, as I say, semi-finals for Thomas Cup will be on Friday. Tomorrow will be semi-finals of Hubei Cup. Well, this was how it all started today on quarterfinals day. Lin Dan winning in 3 games, and then world champions Cai Yun and Fu Haifeng defeating former world #1s Koo Kian-hyat and Tan Bin-hyung in 2 straight games, 21-17, 21-18. Then it was the turn of the second men's singles, and Chen Long, the world #3, just too strong physically for Mohammed Hafiz Hashim. 2 straight games, and I have to say, looked very impressive in the way he played. 21-10, 21-11, the margin of victory there. Well, of course, as I say, it will be Hubei Cup tomorrow. We know the top half of the draw will be China against Thailand. We don't know the bottom half of the draw, but of course we will have both the Hubei Cup semi-finals tomorrow. And of course that will all start at 1300 local time. But in the meantime, from all of us here in Wuhan, hope you can join us tomorrow. Bye-bye.